Dear Diary, today is my birthday and my dad promised he'd be at my party. I'm so excited. Dear Diary, it's 9 o'clock. He never came. Dear Diary, I seen my dad today and mom made me speak. I said hi, but he just kept walking because he didn't recognize me. Dear Diary, my grandma died and today was her funeral. I seen my dad and I waited for him at the repast, but he never came. He went to go smoke crack. Dear Diary, we had my favorite food for dinner tonight. My brother didn't want his, so I had seconds. Mama beat me. Dear Diary, after years of getting honor roll and perfect attendance, Mom finally bought me a phone. Dear Diary, Mom took my phone, but she gave it back. But she forgot she gave it back. So when she seen me with it, she beat me. Dear Diary, Mom got a new boyfriend, so it's back to normal attention and being a second mom to my brothers. Dear Diary, I'm as tired as I've ever been. My soul hurts, and I can't take no more. But dear Diary, I never gave up. Anaya's Diary, Cage Journal. So welcome to Kay's Journal. I'm your host, Kay. This is your
Yes.
healing sanctuary. And today I have my very first guest ever on here, and I'm so excited. Her name is Miss Anaya. So please give her a warm welcome.
Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. So
Yes.
today we're going to get a little bit all in your business. It might be uh, a little touchy subject that everybody really doesn't talk about nowadays. It's called the parental impact, the laughs and the lessons that shaped us. So, do you have anything you want to say before we get started?
This is really I'm gonna be nervous a little bit, so y'all please bear with me. But I'm really excited to do this because there's a lot of people that's too nervous to do it, or like they just can't touch on the subject because it's like a really touchy subject. And I'm just happy that I can be on here and like say I've been through this and this did this to me, but this also made me stronger and made me see life in a totally different way. So I'm just happy to be here.
Right. Happy to have you here, and I'm glad you came on here and to be vulnerable enough to let everybody know, like things that actually go on, things that go on as our childhood, it shaped us as we are today.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so how was the relationship between you and your parents growing up?
Um, I never really had a relationship with my dad. Um, we would see each other from time to time, but it was like it was never like I was never close with him. Like I could never say, "Oh yeah, well I'm going with my dad." I would go with him sometimes, but it would just be like, "I'm just here." Like it was never like, "Oh, like dad daughter time." Like it was never that. My relationship with my mom,
Mhm.
um, that's really where it gets rocky because it's like sometimes it will be like, an up and up, and sometimes it will be really down. Like, whenever she got in a relationship, that's when our relationship got to its lowest. But like when she
Mhm.
was single, it just seemed like she cared about us more. So my relationship with my dad is just nothing at all. My relationship with my mom is really just like it was good and then it was bad and then it was good again.
I can kind of understand that. See, for me, my dad, when I was 10, okay, let me start back from the beginning. My dad was my everything. He was my heart. And when he got locked up when I was 10, it's like taking candy from a baby. Like I had everything I wanted. He spoiled me. He loved me. He gave me all the attention I wanted. And then all of a sudden he was taken from me and I didn't know how to handle that. So I was expecting to get that same love and attention from my mother, but I didn't get that. And I could understand because my dad he was paying for everything and he was a breadwinner. So whenever he got locked up, she had to do everything on her own. So she didn't have time to like I'm not gonna say pour love into us because she loved us, but she didn't have enough time to like fulfill that void that he left. So I'm trying to get the love that he gave me from out of her, and I really didn't get that. So like our relationship is it's kind of rocky. Like I love her, and like I know she does everything she did the best in her ability that she could, but it's like I'm not as close with her like I felt like I should. And I really didn't get as close with her until I got older and I understand and I put myself in her shoes. But like as a child growing up, you don't recognize that. So but we're gonna get into that later in detail because
If I keep going, I'm gonna spiral into a whole nother topic. But okay, how do you think your parents' relationship influenced your views on love and relationships?
Like the relationship they have with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they didn't really like have a relationship. Their relationship was really like I'm her dad, you're her mom, so we have to like respect each other at the least. But like I don't want nothing to do with you. So it's really like people think being in a two parent household is not important, but I feel like it is because when I grew up, I felt like I should have seen how I should be treated and how I shouldn't have been treated, like from my parents. Like, so since I didn't like have the ropes on how I should be treated or what I should tolerate and what I shouldn't, I feel like I tolerate way more than I should in my relationships. And like I know my worth, but it's like I like dim it down a little bit when I'm in a relationship, so I won't make the other person upset or make the other person feel less than. So it's really like I feel like it would have been way better if they were together, or not even together, or if they were like cordial enough to be like, okay, we need to be showing our daughter how she deserves to be treated and how she don't need to be treated. And I just feel like I didn't have that.
I agree. And for me, I feel like it's the opposite because I see my parents like whenever they were out, even though I was young, I would see them fight a lot. Like not all the time, but like when I did, it was enough. It was a lot of arguing, and sometimes I seen stuff I didn't need to see, and it kind of took a toll on me. And I always figured like this is not what I wanted. But I think that they were separate and they were with the right person, and they actually showed genuine love and not this cats and dogs fighting all the time. It would be better, and I wouldn't be as I don't want to say as emotional, but I wouldn't tolerate as much. Like I'm not getting abused or anything, but I'm saying that like with the arguments, I would know like, hey, my daddy was treating his woman right. I'd be like, okay, this is not how a man talk to a lady. This is not how a man should treat a lady. And if I was seeing that more, then I probably would I wouldn't how should I say this? I wouldn't tolerate or I wouldn't have been in some of the past situations that I were in the past. I would know how, okay, I know my worth and I know I don't need to be in a void that you don't know how to talk to me, you don't respect me, okay, you don't need any of my time. I think I would
Okay.
do that better. So
I
that I
agree.
probably agree. Yeah. Okay, so what is one thing you are grateful for about your upbringing?
I'm grateful that I had siblings.
Mhm.
I'm grateful that yeah, I'm grateful that I had siblings because the bond that we didn't get from our mom, we gave it to each other. Like, yeah, I can't be their mom, but I can love them to the point where they're like, okay, yeah, my mom is like on the up and up, but I can always rely on my sister to give me the love that I deserve. Because we were all kids. I'm the
Yeah.
oldest, so we were all kids. So I'm like, okay, y'all deserve love. We didn't ask to be here. So I'm gonna just do my best to show y'all that I love y'all and show y'all that y'all matter. So my siblings is the best part of my life.
I love that. And what can I say? The best part, one thing I'm grateful for. Uh, I don't know. I think I'll say family. Even though we were rocky, like I can tell the love was there. We love each other all in our own way. So I can't say, oh, love was like this. No, love, we all, like mama worked hard. She had to work two jobs, to make sure we never wanted for anything. She had to bust her butt to make sure we had whatever we wanted to have. And that's love in its own way. Yes, she couldn't sit here and like the time that she did have, she was spent with you. But I know you're a child, you're like, oh, you never spend any time with me, or I can never have this, I can never have that. But she always made sure the things that we needed, we had. And I just want to say, like, family, because even though we were broken up the way we were, we still all show love in our own ways. If you could change one thing your parents did while growing up, what would you change?
Um, For my dad, I would change, like, obviously he's addicted to drugs or whatever. I would change the fact that he ever, like, even started the drugs because honestly, I feel like we would have had a bond if it wasn't for the drugs because it was like when it came to me and him, the only problem was the drugs. He couldn't stop. He was in and out of jail. Like, drugs is the only thing that he cared about. So, with him, it would be drugs. With my mom, it would be like her mental when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
Like she gets in a relationship, it's just like it's about them two.
Mhm.
It's not about like us as a group, like me and my two brothers. It's not us five. It's them two, and then it's the three of us. It's separate when it's supposed to be together. I feel like when you get in a relationship and you have kids, if that person doesn't accept your kids, they don't accept you. And I can't really say all the time they didn't accept us because sometimes they would, and she would just be like, "No, this is about us."
Really?
I had good stepfathers, like a couple of them. They were actually like they were nice, like they took our feelings into consideration, but my mom, she was the barrier. So that's what I would change about her.
Mhm. I'm sorry to hear that. I wonder why though. I don't. Uh,
Really feel like it's because like how she grew up. When she grew up, it's really like a generation curse. When she grew up, my grandma was chasing my grandpa. Like, and
mm,
he did like she didn't really my grandma didn't really tend to her kids. They was raising each other like I was raising my brothers. But I feel
right.
like all my aunts went a different route. Like my one aunt, she do whatever she gotta do for her kids. Like she don't do the man and then kids. She do man and kids.
Okay.
And
Right.
then and then my other aunt and my mom, they the same. Men and then kids.
It's funny that you said that because now that you said that, I'm thinking like, okay, that might be why my mother, like, she wasn't as, I'm not gonna say as nurturing because she's been through a lot as well. And when, because she had me and then she had my middle sister. I think she was like maybe like one or two, and then her mom died. So that took a toll on her, and she said she really didn't. I know oftentimes whenever I talk to her, she was like she really didn't know how to be a mom. Like she needed her to teach her, and she was still learning, and she needed her. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking she might never really healed from that. So that's why like she didn't get that, okay, well, this is how you take care of your kid, this is how you do this is how you do that. She didn't get that from her mom, so therefore she didn't know how to teach us. So that's another a reason I'm thinking like, okay, now I see why certain things are like as a child you don't see it like that, but now that I'm out of it, I'm like, okay, I understand. So I give her some grace, but I mean I always give her grace, but when you're a child, you do things, you say things, you act out not knowing the circumstances because the parent don't tell you everything. So, what is one lesson your parents taught you that stuck with you all these years?
Never depend on anybody. Like I feel
Yeah.
like cause I like when my dad would say he would show up and he wouldn't show up, like that showed me like somebody can promise you up and down that they're gonna be there for you, they're gonna love you, they're gonna show you that you matter. But the more times he said he was gonna come and he never came, and the more promises that he broke, I was like, well, if I can't depend on my dad, like why would I depend on anybody else to make me feel good or anything like that? And like my mom, it was like if I can't depend on you to like at least try to be a better mama, try to get where I'm coming from when I'm telling you
Mhm.
certain things, it's like why would I put that like why would I put that on somebody else and depend on anybody else to make me like feel better or understand where I'm coming from or try to make me feel loved if they don't.
Absolutely. But and I'm kind of on a teeter totter with that because see my mom bust her butt and working all these jobs, just take care of us and provide. She's like, okay, she's in that predicament because she was depending on somebody because they were taking care of everything, but then they got taken away, so now it's all on her. So she taught me the aspect of never depend on anybody. But then whenever I got in the relationship that I'm in, it's like, okay, when they want to do for me and they don't do it like when I want to, I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. I can do it. I don't need nobody. So that kind of created a barrier in between us as well. But another reason I'm kind of on the dependent side is because my parents, I already depending on them. Anytime I needed anything, I would call them. Anytime I have any issue or any trouble, they came to save me. So like whenever I got up and I'm on my own, it kind of put me in like a rock and a hard spot because I'm like, okay, my parents are doing everything for me. They was paying on my bills, they were doing all that. So now on my own, like, what do I do? Um, I need help. So now I'm kind of like in the aspect of learning everything for myself because she taught me how to not depend on anybody, but then she also taught me, okay, don't depend on anybody, but anything you need, I got you. You need help with anything, I got this. You need this, I'm gonna pay for it. So like when I'm out here on my own trying to do it and get it on my own, it's like, hmm, okay, what am I doing here? But I'm working through it and I'm getting there. So live and you learn.
Yeah.
So did your parents have any habits or sayings that you picked up?
Um, I don't really know. I don't really think so. I don't know about. I really probably not with my dad because like he wouldn't really like. We never had like sit down conversation. I feel like this, and I feel like we didn't really talk. Like when I was around him, we didn't really talk because it was like you come around like every couple of years. Like I don't really know what to say to you. My mom,
Mhm.
like most of the time, she like angry, and me, like I try not to get angry because it's like why? Like I just try not to get angry because I feel like it's no reason to like be mad. If you can handle it like in a situation where you're calm, that's what I rather do. So I really don't feel like it. They don't really have no sayings. They just say whatever comes to their mind.
I agree on the part when you said about always being angry and you want to be like the calm, don't get upset. For me, that's how I am. I'm naturally a calm, bubbly person. I love to make everybody happy, love to make them laugh. I just love to see everybody like living their best life, just full of joy. That's how I am. But being in a household, mama, she was working all this time and she was stressed out. So I could understand for her being a little frustrated. But Mama she only has one tone, and that's above 10. It's one tone she like when she's happy, when she's upset, it's 110. It's like above 10. But she always like you'll think she's yelling and she say she's not yelling. So whenever I pick that up, people think that I'm yelling and I'm irate and I'm fussing when I'm really not. And sometimes when I am fussing, it's the same tone. So it's like so I had to learn how to calm down. It's all right. Just be yourself, be mellow. Like people think that you're yelling at them. So calm down a little bit. It's okay to calm down. So if anything, I would take that I had to learn how to stop being so irritated and loud all the time. Really.
Now you're really calm and like you this is really calm.
Really?
You seem calm and like you try to help people in the best way that you can. That's
I do. And I'm glad you said that because I do. And for a long time, people say I match energies. That's what I tried. That's what I was doing. And it wasn't me. So like of course I'm all chaotic and I'm naturally like this, but it's like, okay, you yelling at me, so I want to yell at you, even though I don't want to yell. I'm just doing that because you're doing it to me. And I had to learn how that's not how God made me. God made me to be like a mediator. He made me to just be calm, collected. I'm supposed to bring you down to where I'm at, not meet you where you're at. That's not where he met me. That's not where I'm supposed to be. So now that I'm living in my purpose and listening to him and talking to him and letting meditating on what he's telling me, I'm coming back into my true authentic self and it feels so good. For a long time I was like irritated, so I felt like I just need to smoke to calm down because I feel normal. So once I stopped doing that and I talked to God, like, listen, I need you to help me because I know this is not me. And everybody's saying this is me. Everybody always saying that I'm angry and saying that I'm mean. Like it's not me. So I don't understand what is inside of me that is making me come off this way. And when he taught me, he let me know, okay, I need all the traumas that I went through, all the hurt and betrayal and all the lies I went through, I have to let it go. I can't just hold on to it and let it harvest and just come out as irate. I had to let it go so I can become who he made me out to be. And it feels so much better. Like for me to respond, people be negative to me, I can respond with love and okay, I still love you. Okay, I understand. You cussing me out, but me just say, okay, I understand. Like I know you're going through something, so something that I did bring out, I understand me to talk you out of that. Like it took a lot of growth, and appreciative because now I feel like I'm getting my groove back, like I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you're able to notice that and acknowledge that. Because sometimes when people only see you as being mean and irritated, it doesn't matter how much growth you do, they're still gonna see you that way. And for me to just meet you and for you to say that and you can feel that from me, it means a lot. Like my heart's full.
And I'm happy that you got back to who you were. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. And we're gonna make you like see whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, you're gonna accomplish that tenfold. And I can see it in you, and I can see a lot. Like whenever you answer these questions, I see a lot of me in you. The way that you act and how you're so calm and attentive. That's just me, and like I just love it. Like, right, I'm
Thank
just
you.
in awe. I am. Okay, so what was a moment that you realized your parents were actually right about something?
Um, my dad never really taught me like any lessons that I can be like, oh, well, he was actually right. Like I said, we didn't really talk like that when we was together. But my mom, what I
Mhm.
will say is, when I had like a stage or whatever where I felt like I could just do what I want, she was like it'll all catch up to you in the end. Like every bad thing I did,
Mhm.
almost immediately or like a little bit after, it caught up to me. Like
Mhm.
and like I was only doing that because I wanted her attention, but it
Right.
just it was it everything just blew up. Everything I did, it
Really?
always caught up to me, almost like instantly, or it took a little minute. But when it took a little minute, it was worse.
Really?
That's what I can say. Everything definitely it caught up to me.
What I can say is like my dad, he's a thinker. Anything that he said, he is so logical and he is so brilliant. Like he's so brilliant. So sometimes I'll say this. Most time, anytime he tell me anything or give me any advice, it's what I needed to hear. And a lot of times when God can't get through to me, like in my prayers or like what he told me, and like every day I'll get a call from him and exactly what I was thinking or exactly what God was trying to get to me, he will say it out his mouth. I'm like, dang, like, okay, God, like I hear you. And for my mom, it's more of she's already been there, she's already experienced it. So like whenever she tells me something or she gives me some advice, that's what it is. But I'm like, because most of the time, whenever you're inside something, you can't really see it like everybody else who's on the outside can see it. So whenever she would tell me like, that ain't your friend, no, you need to stop doing that, and I'm like, you don't want me to have fun, like you don't know what you're talking about. Like, mom, I understand you just being overprotective. I know you love me, but you know what you're talking about, and then it'll come to pass. And I'm like, dang, like she really was right. Like she could tell it wasn't my friend. Like how did she know that? But because she already experienced it, because she already knows. So I just got to take heed to what she says more often. All right. So did you have a stage of rebellion?
Yeah.
And how did your parents react or handle that?
Okay. I had a stage of rebellion when I was like, I'm 20 now. I had a stage of rebellion, I'll say when I was 12, 13 years old. It was like,
Mhm.
I got in trouble one time, but it wasn't like that much trouble. But when I got in trouble, I noticed like my mom was like, she was mad, but
Mhm.
she was more like attentive than she like really be. And I was like, well, maybe if I keep getting in trouble, like she'll start like picking up. Like maybe I need to like get closer with her so she won't keep getting in trouble. So yeah, it was a bit of a rebellious stage. I'm not gonna lie. My dad, he wasn't around, so he really couldn't say nothing to me. And I feel like with all respect, like if he would have said something to me, I would have just been like, okay, because you can't really. How are you gonna be like, yeah, well, don't do that, and you're gonna do anything, and you're never around to show me right or wrong. I know it was wrong, but like you didn't teach me anything. My mom, like it made her mad. I guess she seen a little bit of me and her, but it
Mhm.
was only to get her attention. It wasn't like that's what I wanted
Mhm.
to. I just was doing it so like I can get her attention or whatever. And yeah, she was really mad. Like it got bad a couple times, had to call the cops, stuff like that. But that
Story
I
for
was
another
giving
day.
her a hard time because I felt like this is the only way you're going to be like, okay, let me pay attention to my daughter. So the more hard time I'm gonna give you, and I felt like she gave me a hard time all my life. So I was like, I really just was angry. I went from being sad to being angry. So I really just wanted revenge. And I feel like I got it, but in a bad way. Now I feel like I got it in a bad way. But when I was younger, I was like, yeah, now you feel how I feel. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
felt about it.
Exactly. I agree. And that sounds more like my sister. Like she would act out. For me, I just was okay. I didn't try. I didn't talk to you. So I'm just gonna shut down. I'm gonna do my own thing. So and then, like I said, I felt like then I felt like she wasn't paying attention to me and she wasn't giving me the love, the nurturing that I needed from my mother. So I went out trying to find it my own ways.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to talk myself dating, talk to people I don't have no business talking to,
Yeah.
just doing all kind of stuff that I had no business doing. And I felt like if I would have had, I'm not gonna say a little more guidance, but like they would have like expressed themselves to me like more on like an emotional level, okay, then I will understand. But I feel like I wasn't getting that love at home. And my dad, he's in prison, so he really couldn't like on the phone, like going to visit him. That's not really like parenting, like I'm talking to you and you talking to me, and then I'm like, okay, when I get home, what do I want to do anyway? Because you can't really do nothing because you're where you at. And I should have
Yeah.
looked at it like that, but I did. So she tells me not to do stuff. I'm doing it. Like I'm not really like being disrespectful, but like how you gonna tell me I'm not gonna have no Facebook? Like I'm on, even though I was doing stuff on there I ain't had no business doing, but I'm like I can do what I want to do. And then how you gonna tell me I can't date? Like they showing me love, they give me attention that I need, even though it wasn't the right attention, I still felt seen, I still felt hurt, and I still felt love. So that's what I was craving and going after. But now I'm starting to learn the difference between like genuine love and then just people just throwing stuff at you and you thinking that it's love and it's not. So I had
Yeah.
to learn that the hard way.
No, most definitely. Me too. Same thing. Exactly the same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. hmm So how did your parents support your dreams or career choices?
Um, it's crazy because when I grew up, I wanted to be different things. I really wanted to be a teacher because
hmm
I just felt like I felt I could do what my teachers do. Like I felt like I can get up there in front of a class and be like, yeah, but teach them the right stuff. I feel like in school they often teach us like I don't know. I feel like they teach us the wrong stuff. They're not teaching
Right.
stuff to build our credit or like how slavery really was back then. They often like I don't want to go to the kids and be like, yeah, we all got whipped and I'm not gonna do all that, but I want to say like what's really real. And then I wanted
Mhm.
to be a judge. I wanted to be different things. And I won't say it wasn't no support, but it was just like it was just like, okay, like it really just wasn't like no but I think you can do it. Like, and we're gonna work together so you can do it. It was just like okay, cool. Like they make money like that.
Mhm.
I really feel like it was genuine.
I understand. Um, uh, then I would say, yeah, because I mean, I was doing whatever. I just go work. I know I didn't really want to go to school. They didn't really push me to go to school. Like they wanted me to go to school. I mean, like of course, but they really didn't really push me into doing it. And I was always a hard worker. Like even like before I got sick, I was always a hard worker. I would do anything you put in front of me, I would do it, and I didn't have any issues. Like I worked like a man. Like that's like I really did. And but my dad, he's always telling me like, "Oh, you got so much potential. Oh, you need to do something with it." But I feel like he supports me in what I do, but he always know that I can do better. But I think not that he want to live through me, but he want me to do like what he wants me to do and not like for me. So like on my aspect, like when I was telling him I wanted to start my podcast, like that's where God was leading me. That's what he wanted me to do. He was like, okay, but I'm making money. Like, what do you need to do? Da 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 da. And I'm like, I understand, but that's not where God leading me. Like, he really took me from something and want me to birth something of my own. So I know he's just in saying it in like a protective way because he wants the best for me. He wants to make sure that I'm doing everything the best of my ability, and he wants to keep a foot on my behind to make sure I do it. But I can't do it in the same way that y'all are doing it because how I feel, people been doing the same thing for years and they're in the same predicament or they're saying the same. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want something more. I want to build something of my own. I want to create generational wealth. So I can't keep doing things the same way. And we don't have any millionaires in our family yet. I'm not on that. Like, I want to build something. I want to create something and I want to change lives. So in order for me to do that, I gotta go against the grain a little bit and do something different than nobody else done. So they support me, but they're like, but I feel like it's there. My mom, she really doesn't say anything. I mean, no, not to me anyway. So I don't know how she feel about it or not. I told her something and she's not really, like I say, like she's not really like, okay, yeah, like I'm proud of you, you know. She's more like okay, I understand. Sometimes I've been needing that. I'm proud of you. Yeah, you're in the right direction. Yeah, I'm proud. Like I'm glad what you're doing. But even though I know she is, I want to hear her say it. And since she don't say it like that, so I just take what I can get. The last question of the day, is there something you want to say or apologize to your parents now that you are an adult?
Um, I would, I would apologize to my mom for giving her a hard time when I was like in a rebellious stage or whatever. When I was, because I'm not gonna lie, I was putting her through it. Like, I was running out bad or whatever. But I just really wanted her to know, like, this is what results, and when you like you're not there. I'm not gonna say she wasn't there, but like you're
Mhm.
not attentive, and when you're not like actually trying to build a bond or whatever, and when the
Right.
only time you have a bond is when you're not in a relationship. This is how you make me feel. When I'm putting you through it, that's how I feel when you're not doing what you're supposed to do or
Right.
whatever. Like looking back, I would have apologized for that. And I have apologized for that, but it's like now it's to the point where I guess it's like too far gone because too much happened like
Mhm.
between me and her. So now it's just like nothing. And I really want to apologize to my dad for nothing because I never did nothing but try. Like I tried to reach out to him.
Mhm.
When I see him, I tried to speak to him. It's just
Mhm.
like he would talk sometimes, he wouldn't. And I feel like it's not all on the kid to try to
Right.
mend or build a relationship because y'all had me.
Absolutely.
So I feel like it was too much on me to try with him. So I don't have no regrets toward him. I tried. When I saw that it wasn't working, I gave up.
Mhm. I understand. And for me, I feel like knowing what I know now, I would apologize for how I acted because I should have been more, like, even though the mother, the nurturer, she really didn't know how. I should have just gave her that back. I should have told her I love her more. I should have been easier on her when she told me to do something. I should have listened, not disobeying. I've always been respectful, like with my words, but I like with my actions is something different. So I need to apologize for that, like how I act and how I came off to her trying to love me. But at the same time, I was a kid going through all these emotions and I didn't know how to handle them. So I was just tell her that I know she did her best and I don't fault her for anything because she got us through and we never wanted for anything. We always had clothes for school. Every year. We always had food to eat. We always had all this stuff. So like she did her best. So the part that she was absent in, I can understand that because she had us forfeit her time with us in order for her to make sure we got what we needed and have what we needed. So I would just tell her I thank her and I apologize for me acting out the way I was.
Yeah, same thing.
How would you feel your this overall experience was for you, like being on the Cage Journal?
I feel like this is an important thing to do. I feel like it's not a lot of people that you can just be like, well, this is what I went. A lot of people don't like trauma dumping. A lot of people have different experience. Some people had it worse. Like I never be wanting to complain because I feel like some people had it way worse than me. Some people
Mhm.
had it, so I never want to like put too much on anybody. Like well, yeah, I went through, and then they don't know how to respond, or like they feel like they have to like compare our situations or whatever. So I feel like it's important to have like an outlet like this, so like people can know you're not the only person who went through X, Y, and Z. Some people who had it, I mean, you had it worse than some people you didn't. Like it's really just, I feel like it's a good like it's a good outlet to have, because some people bottle all of that up and then like just go crazy.
You're absolutely right. And I thought I was gonna have this on here so it could be a healing space for you, but it also was for me because like when we was talking, I'm like, dang, like I can relate, like, and then you got me thinking of some of the things you were saying, and I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna start crying on here, like even though it's a space to do, I'm like, wow, I didn't know I really still felt those way. I thought I healed about it, but me actually saying it out loud is like, oh, okay, I can let it go now. Because I journal, I write, and sometimes I act throughout my reactions, but actually like having an outlet and actually just talking to somebody and who they can agree and they kind of have the similar experiences. I'm like, okay, like I'm not alone, so we can heal together. And I feel like it was good. Like I needed it. Like when we first started, I thought I was gonna start crying. Like I really did, but we held it together.
I mean,
So do you have any questions you would like to ask? One thing you felt like you didn't get to get off your chest, you have the floor now to do so.
I really just feel like I want to say it the wrong way. I feel like everybody that had like trauma, whether it's childhood trauma, adult trauma, I feel like you never really, people can say they heal, but I feel like you
Mhm.
never really heal from that, because it could be one thing that triggers you and then boom, like all of it is in your head again. I feel like people who have trauma, they often think a lot like to themselves, like, is this my fault? Or like everybody just second guess a lot of things that they do when they have trauma, because they like, okay, I don't want to make this mistake again, and I don't want it to end up like this again. And I just feel like although you never fully heal from it and you can't forget what you've been through, like
Mhm.
you can still thrive. You can still do what you're doing. You can still like together and show people like this is not the end. Like you went through
Absolutely.
trauma, you went through everything that you went through, but it made you a better person. You're still here. If you still
Absolutely.
here, then it made you a better person. Like you got through it. And that's really all
Absolutely.
that matters.
It's beautiful. I agree. I absolutely agree. Because sometimes when you're going through things, it's hard to see the out. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you keep going and you keep just, I know I'm going to make it. It's hard right now, but I know I'm going to make it. And then community is a big thing as well. Having people that's trying to achieve the same goal as you would make you feel like you're not alone. That helps as well. So then it's not like, okay, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for other people as well. So that's how I feel about this podcast. Because I'm like, "Mm, how am I going to help people do this? How am I going to, people going to listen to me? Like, because when I was younger, you could not hear a word I was saying. Like I was talk 50 miles a minute. I would stutter so bad you couldn't hear anything I was saying. So like, I always wanted to do stuff like this, but I never seen how. But I prayed on it and I'm like, God, are you sure this is the avenue you want me to go on? And he just kept reassuring me. He just kept giving me like little subtle signs. And I'm like, okay, I can do it. And now I've seen a big improvement. It's mainly because I kind of just let go. I stopped being so nervous. I stopped saying that I couldn't do it, and all of it's kind of like a mental thing. So like, if you start in your head, I'm gonna stutter. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna trip over my words. Oh my God, I'm not gonna know what to say. You're constantly thinking about that over and over and over again. Once you just let go and you just be, it kind of comes out better than you expected. So this is another thing reason I'm coming out of my comfort zone. I'm letting go of my traumas because traumas and past behavior, it keeps you in the past. It doesn't let you grow. So I feel like I'm gonna change some lives, change some worlds, and I don't know, I'm gonna see where this takes me, and hopefully you'll be along for the ride. We can just kind of piggyback off of each other.
Was
But
that
this was a good experience. I like it. I love it. Like
For my first time on a podcast, I feel like this was really good. Like
Really
this was like I heard you, you heard me. Like this was really good.
love that. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad it was a great experience for you, because this is a great experience for me. And I'm not as nervous as I thought I would be, because you never know, meeting new people, you never know how they're going to respond to you and how you're going to respond to them. But you're saying that I'm calm, but I feel like you're calm. So you sitting there and just being so calm and like so attentive, you're actually coming and helping me. Once again, I see a lot of you in me. Just, I love it.
I definitely feel like we're the same.
I do too. I do too. So hopefully, some people like one at a time, like we talk to each other and then we don't talk to each other no more. Hopefully, we can actually like form a bond and we can just like become friends if you're up for that. I need to be around more like-minded people. I need to be around people who have the same vision as me, not just where I'm going, people who actually experience what I experienced. And it doesn't matter how that came across, because it doesn't matter your background or how bad you might have it. You might think what you went through wasn't that bad, but then we talk to somebody, people like, oh my goodness, are you serious? And you never know, like you can form bonds like that, and you never know somebody hearing your story how you can help them or how you can change perspective. So I feel like we're gonna do great things. So if you would like, you can take the floor and you can uh share your socials if you would like. They can connect with you on there.
Okay, yeah. It's crazy because I just did that trauma dump and like people was like, oh my God. Like I really thought like, okay, it's not that bad because people had it worse. Like when people was commenting like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, so like it's really just like, oh, like y'all haven't heard of nothing like this before. But I really and it really wasn't even for attention why I did it. I just really wanted to do it. I seen people doing it and I'm like, well, like I got something to say too. Like I never did that before. Like it was way out of my comfort zone. Nothing on my page is about that. But I was just like why not? I did it. Everybody was like, oh my God. I'm like, oh. Well, with that being said, my TikTok is it's DADONDADA and it's three more A's after the last A. Instagram is the real dot Naya, but it's like three A's and four H's. But my picture will pop up. And my Facebook is Naya with two A's and Mac.
And you also have a YouTube, don't you?
That how did I get all that? Thank you. I definitely forgot about that. My YouTube is Life with DADONDADA.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually why I wanted to reach out to you. And that's another thing. I don't like reaching out to people. I feel like I'm begging them, or I feel like I'm soliciting. I'm not doing that. I just want to, I don't know. Like when I seen that, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is exactly what you need to hear about. Like, and then whenever you asked me to follow you on YouTube, I took that as a chance to just go ahead and ask. And then you were so receptive. And you're like, oh my goodness. And then I don't know, it's made me feel excited. So like now that opened up a new avenue for me. So sometimes people, whenever they go through things, they don't really want nobody to know, or they feel like nobody wants to hear them. So sometimes you gotta go out and talk to them like, hey, like I would love to hear your story. I would love to do that. Cause I'm times 10, they feel like they already so much trauma in them, they don't feel like nobody is hearing them. So that's why they're looking for an outlet. So I feel like I can be that outlet for them. I just gotta go out and I just gotta go out. Not me go out and find them. It's more God led. God gonna lead me to them, and He'll just so happen. I haven't seen any of your videos well, at the time, but I seen that one. I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. So I took that as a hint, as God sending me like, okay, like this is someone you need to talk to and see if they want to get on there. And then now I feel like it's even more divine intervention, because you were so receptive. You were like, I don't think I want to do that. And there were even times I was like, okay, she might not want to get on here. She might change her mind. But then whenever I text her, you're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, like she is serious. Like I love this. So I'm excited. And this just goes to show that whenever you go, okay, like I said, I don't want to people religious reviews, but how I feel, whenever you listen to God and you follow his instructions, he's never going to lead you astray. And he always going to lead you to where he wants you to be. But when we start doing things on our own and be like, God ain't telling me to do that, or that's not what God want me to do. Like, I don't understand how God thinks it's gonna work for me. That's when things start going awry. But whenever you go according to his will, everything just goes so smoothly. You don't have any discrepancies or anything. So this is a good experience. I'm so glad to see where this will take us. And whatever knows, maybe we'll be on YouTube and then we'll actually like link up and we'll like just do like a little mini vlog day, whatever. You never know where this can take us. I'm excited for the ride.
Most definitely, I'm really happy because like when you did text me, like you was very respectful, like you didn't overstep your boundaries, like you wasn't like aggressive or anything. You came to me calm. You was like, yeah, but I would love for you to be. And it's crazy because I always been saying like I want to do a podcast. Before I did YouTube, I was like I want to do a podcast because like I be having so much to say. Like even if I feel like, but I used to feel like nobody's gonna listen to me because who am I? I don't know a lot of people. A lot of people don't know me. Like the people in like where I'm from, they know me, but like they're not gonna sit down and listen to what I gotta say because they know me. So I
Right.
just felt like nobody was gonna listen to me over there. So I didn't do the podcast, but I did YouTube. And it's just really been like how uh outlet. I get on there and I do what I do normally, but it's like it's being posted like for other people to see. Like it's not you don't have to live glitz and glamour to live a good life. And that's what
Oh
I feel like I promote. Like you don't have to have the best car or you don't have to have the biggest penthouse. You don't have to have all of that.
my goodness. Like I'm not laughing. It's just mind boggling because you sound just like me and everything that I'm trying to do. Like you're already doing that, or like we have the same or similar interests. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I don't know if he's saying like a lot. Oh my goodness. I gotta find
Me
another word.
too.
But I'm just so excited because it took me a while. I never even thought about doing TikTok. I never thought about, I mean, I thought about doing YouTube. Ever since I was like in middle school and high school, that's all I watched. People doing YouTube. I'm like, man, I could do that. I'm gonna do that one day, but I never stepped out of my comfort zone to do that. It wasn't until I stopped caring about what everybody else saying. It wasn't
Yeah.
until God isolated me to like, okay, you don't got nobody. Well, not you don't got anybody, but you not out here doing this for nobody. You're doing this for yourself. You're doing this for what you like. If you genuinely have interest in doing this, so why aren't you doing it? You need to be you. It doesn't matter if nobody don't understand what you're doing. It doesn't matter if nobody else likes what you're doing. It doesn't matter if they don't understand. Do what I'm telling you to do. Do what makes you feel good because your abundance and your joy and your happiness is only going to come if you are living for you, not living for nobody else, not living how nobody else think you should live. You got to live for you, authentically you. And that was, I had imposter syndrome for a long time. I felt like, okay, I gotta act like you in order for you to like me, or I gotta dumb myself down, or I gotta not shine so bright so you don't get offended. But now I don't care about that because if it was the other way around, you wouldn't do that for me. You're
Yeah.
gonna be you regardless. You're not gonna care how you act or what you do and how that affects my feelings. You're gonna do it anyway. So why I gotta please you in order to live my life. That's not how that's gonna work. It's not how God wanted me to be. He wanted me to shine and live abundantly. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm glad. I'm not gonna say I'm upset that it took me this long, but because everything that happened for a reason. So I had to learn in order to become the version of me that I am now. So I'm grateful for all my experiences and everything. So I feel like this was a good session. I really do.
I really do. This
Oh,
was
me too.
I don't really talk to well, I talk to certain people like about what I go through and stuff like that, but like
Mhm.
actually like for it to just be quiet and like for me to hear what I'm saying, it's like, yeah, you got through that. Like
Yeah.
you and to hear somebody else, it's like they went through almost the same thing, they got through it too. Like
Yes.
I feel like everybody that got through it, they're like literally a walking testimony and
Yes.
that they all gonna do great things because I mean, if you went through all that and you're still thriving, you're still what's going that's not the end for you. You're gonna keep succeeding, you're gonna keep be
Mhm.
the best version of yourself. And that's how I feel.
You will. And as long as you remain positive, you will receive positive things. Like even though whenever life unfortunate events happen, you have to look and be like, okay, what can I learn from this? Okay, what is this teaching me? What is it that I'm not understanding? Because sometimes people always want to blame. I'm not talking about anything in general. I'm just saying sometimes people want to blame other people for their misfortunate events and their shortcomings when you have to realize, okay, what is inside of you that's keep attracting these certain things to you? What is inside of you that's keep allowing you to end up in the same circumstances? Like, what is it? Are you not um following through on your commitments? Are you just not really living in your worth? Are you allowing just anybody just coming to your space and just take from you? Are you not standing on your boundaries? Do you have negative thoughts? Do you feel like you can't accomplish anything before you even try? Like, what is it that is keeping you from living your best life? And once you figure that out and you change it, or you can, um, if you can't change it, or if you can like, uh, sometimes you can't change that circumstance. Sometimes you have to just go with the flow. If you can just figure out a way that you can make it happen. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, because sometimes you can't change things, but you can change how it affects, or you can change how you see it or you
Yeah,
experience it. So when you do that, you'll start seeing things in a different light. But the first thing is you got to acknowledge. Acknowledgement is the first step. And once you do that, you're already halfway there. Because the next step, you just gotta, once you acknowledge it, you just gotta change it and do what you can do about it. So,
I agree.
well, that concludes. If you don't have anything you have to ask or anything else you want to say, I can do the outro. However you want to do it.
This was a great session. I'm happy that you invited me to be here, and there will be more.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. But I'm glad you were here, Miss Anaya, and ready for our next session. And I wish you nothing but peace and blessings and positivity on your endeavors, and whatever it is that you want to achieve, you will achieve it. Just keep that mindset that you have and just keep radiating love and calmness, and everything that you want will come to you in abundance.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
You as
you're
well.
welcome. Thank you. And that will be the end of today's session of Cage Journal. Thank you all for tuning in. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.
Okay. Peace.